it at one point made me pretty cynical. Tip one is, if there's a problem, get rid of them immediately, because they're going to continue to be a problem.
If you're thinking about starting a pressure washing business, but you want to learn more about the equipment, mixing chemicals, how to clean every surface on a residential job site, property protection, and much, much more, check out the How to Wash course. It'll be the first link in the comment section and the description.
What is up, everybody? My name is Justin. This is Forever Self-Employed, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about the worst employees that Mike has ever had. In today's video, we're going to be listening to a snippet from a podcast that me and him recently recorded, and in the snippet, he's going to be telling a couple different stories of bad employees that he's had, from people stealing from him, smoking weed with property managers, all the way to an employee that he gave an auto loan to, and the employee ended up totaling the vehicle, and he had to figure out how to mitigate the loss financially. So in this one, we're going to be listening to a lot of crazy employee stories, as well as Mike is going to tell us why you should fire an employee early, some of the things you need to look out for, and his experience balancing between being desperate for workers, but also not wanting to continue employing ones that were damaging his company's reputation. So in this one, we're going to cover a lot about employees. It's going to be really good. But before we get into that, I do want to let you guys know that me and Mike are going to be doing some in-person trainings very soon. So if you guys have ever been interested in learning how to wash, marketing, sales, or any other aspect of the pressure washing business in person, check out the first link in the comment section and the description. We have all of our in-person trainings down there. Like I said, we have some coming up very soon. So if you're interested, be sure to hop on that as soon as possible. Now, if in-person training is something that you can't make or don't want to travel for, you can always check out our resource page. I will leave that as the second link in the comment section and the description. On there is going to be tons of resources to help you to start or grow your current business. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into the video.
Mike, do you have like a worst employee you've ever had? I know you have a series, you have a short series, but can you just talk to us about one of those experiences?
Yeah, I could tell you many stories about many horrible employees. And this goes back to the hiring process, not hiring the right people. And some of that has to do with price, some of it doesn't. But when you hire somebody and they're a problem, they're an issue, right? There's constantly something going on in their life that's impacting their work life, and you let it go, right? And I've done that so often, and I've been burned so many times. It at one point made me pretty cynical. Tip one is, if there's a problem, get rid of them immediately, because they're going to continue to be a problem. No, second chances are okay, right? For tardiness, for things like that, but not stealing, not lying, not, saying you're working and then I roll up and you're parked, at the back of the apartment community smoking weed with the maintenance guy, right? Those are not things that are okay. Those are things that I should not have allowed to happen. Those are things that we should have, just moved on. But I was hiring out of desperation and, like you said, downtime. So I'm like, okay, well, okay, just don't smoke so much weed. And so now I've got like a zero tolerance policy on all bullshit, right? Like zero tolerance. Everybody gets a chance. And after that, like, these guys, they've got a good thing going, and I want them to continue to have a good thing going. And a good thing going means they're being productive. They're being efficient. They're making me money. They're showing it up. I don't have to babysit. I'm not a babysitter. I used to be a babysitter. I made a commitment to myself about 3 years ago that I am no longer being a babysitter, right? I am eliminating all stress from my life. And that's one of the reasons I sold my landscape business, because I was done being a babysitter.
You made a good reference to, if they're a problem early, then usually you just need to cut them, because they're going to continue to be a problem.
So I had a guy that was always an issue. He was a good worker, right? He did a good job. And so that was the rub, right? It's like, okay, what's that balance, right? It's like that close ratio balance. What's the balance? And finally, I figured out the balance, and it was he had to leave, and it was not a good thing. But I let him come back multiple times, right? Like, I'd be desperate and I'd call him and he'd come back, right? So that's on me, and I take full responsibility. But, I gave a loan for a vehicle one time to an employee. I had a vehicle. He needed one. He couldn't get back and forth from work. He couldn't get a loan at a bank. And I said, okay, I've got this truck. I'll take it out of your paycheck. I didn't charge interest. It was just basically he was going to pay off the truck. And I think I gave him like 3 or 4 years or something like that. And it was not an expensive truck. And he got hammered, drove this truck down a dirt road, flipped it like 3 times. He got messed up, fortunately not like he was just cut up and whatnot. The truck was just mauled. I wish I had pictures to share, but it was a complete disaster. And after he was up and moving again, I was like, okay, well, you realize you still have to pay this truck off. And he was like, what? I got to pay it off? And I'm like, well, yeah, it was yours. And he goes, but I can't drive it anymore. He goes, I need the insurance money so I can buy a new truck. And I was like, well, that's not how it works. And so he ended up, and of course I worked with him, and he was able to continue to pay out of his, his paycheck for some of it. But yeah, so that was one. He's also one that had, stolen a bunch of equipment, tried to sell some of my lawn care equipment, and, got busted because he was wearing a company shirt, things like that. And that was the final straw. And I was like, okay, obviously, this is not
So there had been like previous malfeasances. This wasn't the first time that an issue had arisen.
But it was every single day there was something. And it was like I was spending more time dealing with employee issues than I was running my business. And that can have such an impact, right? Bad employees will hurt your business more than you'll ever know. Just your reputation, your business reputation. If you've got people out there that aren't, being good stewards of your name, it's going to impact your business. And it takes years to make up for those types of things, right? If a customer has a bad experience, they don't care if it's with some dirtbag that's, shouldn't be working for me. And that's my fault, not theirs. It's still all American. It's not, the kid that was, or the guy that was, being a jerk or did a bad job. It's my company that gets the bad review. So